Today is a really fascinating story from an amazing educator who is getting ready to retire this year. It's about how turning on location services can save your life if you know the right time to turn it on. This is a great educational show about the time that we do need our location services. Just remember, you don't always need it. I'll talk a little more at the end of the show and give you your challenge for safety. This is one of those you'll want to share, episode 542.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
Pam, today you and I are talking about the importance of location services. Now, I know that sometimes we all, me included, go and just turn off location for everything because we don't want all this stuff to track us and know where we are. But tell us your story about how locations may have saved your life.
My husband and I, we were traveling from Tennessee, where we're going to be retiring soon, back to Michigan. And we were traveling along on I-75, and this was on Memorial Day. All of a sudden, like, the sky got really, really, really dark. There was lightning right in front of us, and both of us are like remarking about how awesome it is. It's like, wow, we haven't seen lightning that was quite that amazing looking. Before long, my phone started going off, that annoying, loud noise that says there's a problem, there's an emergency alert. And I looked at it and it said, tornado warning, take cover now. And so we're thinking, it doesn't look that bad. Really? How could do you think that this could be correct? And so we quickly got on the radio and looked for an AM radio station. And we quickly came upon, it was a local Dayton. We were traveling through Ohio near the Dayton area. And it was the local TV station. They started talking about how there have been tornadoes that have touched down, and they named these little towns. We had no idea. Like, we don't know that part of Dayton, like Brooksville. It's like, so where's Brooksville? So quickly I was able to use Google Maps and do a search to find out where these little towns where they have seen the tornadoes like touch down. Turned out that we were directly in the path.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was really, really quite scary. And the meteorologist on the radio, she was saying, if you're traveling on I-75, get off the road right now. The tornado is right in your path. She was extremely persuasive. She says, your life is in danger. I'm not kidding you guys, she said. And so my husband and I just kind of looked at each other and said, let's get off right now. We had no idea where we were going to go or whether there was going to be like shelter that might be helpful to us. Luckily, we just took the first exit, and there was a sign there for the Dayton Children's Hospital. We were like downtown Dayton. So we decided, well, that sounds like a good place that might be a good place for a shelter. And so we followed the signs, and within like a mile we were there. We were able to pull right up to the door, talk to the security guards that were there who welcomed us. And, we were able to park right in their shelter, in their parking structure. We went into the hospital and hung out in their basement with like a whole bunch of their staff members for quite some time. Kept on having the alarms were going off, and they code gray, I think it was code gray, and don't use the elevators. And they kept on like extending the warning as well.
Wow.
So a bunch of us were in the basement there with our phones, and they were scared. The staff members that we were hanging out with there had family members that were also right in the path, and they were at home and they were in the bathtub, and it was quite something, quite
Anybody
experience.
who's lived through it, that kind of thing, it is very scary. So what happened when the alerts were gone and you came out? Did you realize it was a good thing that you went and did that?
Yes. First of all, they said that we weren't able to get back to the highway the way we came because the roads were closed because there was so much destruction. And so we had to get out our map and try to find another way back to I-75. And once we did, there was just we didn't really understand what we were seeing at the time. There was all this massive debris that were it was in the median and on the side of the road, lots of it. And it went on for a couple of miles even turns out the next morning we Googled it, of course, and we're looking at pictures and news stories. And it turns out they used snow plows to actually shovel away all of that debris. It was something.
So the point is, and I will tell you this because shortly before you had this happen, my husband and I had been traveling to church, and we literally, saw a tornado that touched down by the Marine base as we were traveling. And I realized after you did, you had this incident, and you said pretty much location-based services with weather alerts saved my life. I realized that I didn't get alerts because I had gone and turned location off for everything.
Yeah. In fact, I've been having trouble with my phone. It's on its last leg. I'm going to be getting a new one today. I'm so excited. But anyway, I happened to turn on location just it was timely. I wanted to sync my Fitbit of all things.
Wow.
So I turned on the location, and right after that is when the alert came.
Wow.
So I don't know. We just need to thank our lucky stars that everything kind of.
So what was the app were you using? Did it just come through the regular location of the phone, like an emergency alert from the government, or was it like the Weather Channel?
No, it was just, I think it came through the phone. It was part of I have an Android phone, and I believe it was just part of the emergency services that I think they use the towers to figure out where you are and the location. And
of course they could have just sent it through the towers without location-based. However, I do know that location-based alerts, Kip and I were traveling back from Liberty University where our son had gone to a big man football camp, and we were traveling through really bad weather, and I had turned on location based because of what happened to you. And I was getting alerts for where we were driving through, and it was coming. I'd used weather.com, which is the Weather Channel. I did feel informed and I did feel safer, and we did change our route and go a different direction. And I just think this is an important story, educators, because we worry so much about privacy, and we should, and we talk about privacy, and we should, but there are times that we need location-based. Pam, do you think that if you had not gotten that alert, that you would have just been in the middle of it?
We might have, because based on what I was able to read and research online, is that it really was right on I-75, right where we were at. Now, we could have outrun it. It's hard. It really is hard to tell, because we were at the hospital for probably about 5 minutes or so before I could hear something outside. Yeah. So whether 5 minutes would have gotten us through there, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, that's just something, having lived through tornadoes and terrible hurricanes, you just don't want to deal with that. It's just not the time to be, outside. So educators, we bring you this story because it's a great story to share with your students and share with parents that there is a time to turn on location services, particularly when you're dealing with weather. And, you can go in your location services on your phone and turn them on for certain apps. And I know for my weather alerts, multiple apps, I have my location turned to always, so that whether I'm using the app or not, it will give me alerts, because I just think that's the way to be safer. So Pam, thanks for telling your story, and good luck with your retirement.
Oh, thank you so much, Vicki.
Your challenge today for the show is a safety challenge for you. And I also included in this challenge, ask you to have at least one other person that you choose. You could even talk to your students. But pick a weather app, go into settings, and educate yourself on how to turn it on for always allow, if that is your choice. Understand, though, that location-based services can be used to track where you are. So if you choose not to allow any location-based services, then just make sure you know how to turn it on while traveling or when the weather is bad. As always, consult with your wireless carrier about your data plan and educate yourself on the apps you use. Sometimes having location-based services on for too many apps can really drain your battery. And so for me, I've pretty much chosen to turn it on for my favorite weather app. And I've got a few other settings in there I've tweaked. But do set your privacy settings with intentionality, educate yourself, and be safe. And I appreciate Pam sharing this story. As I share in the show, it actually changed our course on a trip with some bad weather, and it seems like there's a lot of bad weather these days. So understand how to use location services to keep you and your family and your students safe. This is one of those things I think I would make sure my bus drivers knew how to do. Thanks for listening.